One of the first things I wanted to check on also too before we take off our trip to Alaska was actually the tires. I want to kind of rotate them. I don't know the history of the camper because we bought it used. So I wanted to look at it as, I'm not for sure the maintenance, so I'm gonna treat it as if I'm doing the maintenance for the first time. So I do want to rotate these tires. They say you should rotate them like at least every 10,000 miles. So this would be my first time ever rotating them. One of the things I want to do is actually put the spare tire in rotation. And after looking at it, it's as long as the tread life looks good, as well as the side walls, they're the same brand, and the date on them too. If you look at your DOT, this date here is 2120, so it's made in the 21 weeks in the 1920. So if you look at that's about almost going on 6 years now. So this tire is going to be ready to be replaced anyway. So I want to rotate it out. I'm actually review on whether I should change it completely, but at this point in time, I'm just going to rotate them and then evaluate it from there. I already loosened the nuts on it before I lifted it. And now I'm going to loosen the rest of it. Now that I have the tire off, I'm actually going to take the time out to grease the bearings as well as inspect the brakes. This is a good time to look at this while I have everything off. Okay, so once I took off the tire, I'm going to take off this cap. You can use a screwdriver, just kind of pry it off. This is dull, so I end up using this. Takes that cap right off. You want to inspect it. This one looks fairly new, no issues, which could be a good sign. Because also, since I have this off and I'm checking it, I also want to check my brakes as well. You're going to be using it, you want to try not to damage it, so I use a rubber mallet. Just get like a 45-degree angle and try to pop it out. This side. Pops right off. Pretty clean, not damaged. Set that aside. Okay, that's where it kind of gets messy. You're gonna have to wipe this grease out of here. Suggest wearing some gloves. Making a mess. First thing we want to remove is the castle crown. This here, if you just kind of pry it off, the edges off, it'll come right out. I had to get a smaller screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver. You just pull that, I'll just kind of pop off. This that comes right off there. Just set it aside. I'm actually putting it on a clean towel so it's not getting any dust on it. So when I reassemble this stuff back, it's gonna won't have a problem taking it off. I'm sorry, when I reassemble it back, I won't be reapplying dirt into the axle from this the wheel. So this is hand tightening, so you can just screw this off. I have another bearing in here. Actually, you can either, it slides right off. You have a washer and the bearing. It's the washer. And when it fall out on the ground, you can actually put the nut back on just to catch it. I don't know if it helps, but I usually will put everything, disassemble everything, but keep them in order, so I know the order in which they come back, go back on. So so that'll help me with the assembly part. The bearing goes in, the washer, the nut, and the crown, castle crown. Just for my own peace of mind. Okay, we'll take the drum all the way off. Just a little wiggling. It's got a lot of grease on there, a little wear on the padding here. Some grease in here. The pads aren't too worn out. Still got a little bit more life left on them. Also, too, if you decide I am going to replace it, you can also notice that the part number is right in here. That'll give you what the part number is to reorder it again. If I do decide to change, I would get the whole unit here. And all you have to do is remove the four bolts that's behind it, as well as getting the self-adjusting. But just having that, you just have one unit to put on, and then you can reassemble it back together again. Now, once you take off the brakes, you'll basically have the spindle left. You'll also need to cut the brake, the electric brake line as well. And once you do that, you want to go ahead and clean up your spindle. You want to make sure you get all the debris off of it, as well as inspect it too. Just make sure there's no burrs on it, because once you put the bearings back on, you don't want it to scratch up the bearing surface. And also too, where the nut goes back on, make sure you clear that out. I kind of use brake cleaning solution to clean it up, because again, you don't want to strip the nut at the same time. So I just kind of sprayed around it, and also around the bearing, the nut, the threading. Another thing I did too is that here I also put in my grease pack. I packed the grease in to get the old grease out, to apply new grease into it as well. It's better to do it now before you take off before you apply the brakes. That way you don't have to worry about getting old grease on the brakes as well. But it's only a little bit that will go pack inside there. So I did that as well. So once after cleaning out, Then you pull out the new brakes. When you reinstall them, you'll notice the front and back. The back brakes are a little bit longer than the front brakes, so you'll be facing the longer uh, pads in the back, heading toward the back of the camper. But you can also tell too that the brake sensor is also on the bottom. But you just slide the bolts back into the four plates in the, behind it, and you'll end up tightening the brakes. You'll be end up tightening the nuts on the back of the brake assembly to get it completely fastened back on. So once you finally tighten up the last four bolts, you'll have a new brake system back on. And then you'll need to fasten back your brake lines, your electric brake lines. In this case, I actually just twisted them together. You could use butt connectors as well, but I basically just twisted mine together and put a shrink wrap over them to protect them. And then also I zip tied it to the back of the axle so they wouldn't be moving around in the back, just to secure it down. Then I just apply some heat to, tighten up the shrink wrap around the wires themselves. Again, this is to protect it. There's also a device you can buy too that will that will go over to shrink wrap that. I'll put that in my links to if you want to look at that product as well. It's a little bit more cleaner. And so once you do have it fastened down, then the next thing you could do is go back and work on the drum itself. You can buy the whole kit drum with the bearings and everything in it, but in my case it looks pretty decent, so I just kind of cleaned it out again with some brake fluid cleaning solution. Sprayed it here and just got everything cleaned up, and then I removed the seal bearing, the inner seal bearing, and I just used a pair of pliers to pull them off. I wasn't going to reuse it, so I wasn't worried about damaging it, so I just pulled it right out of the inside bearing, and then removed the old inside bearing as well. And this is where I just kind of inspected it, make sure the race was not damaged in any way. They look pretty decent, so in this case I didn't really replace them. If you do replace them, you'll probably need a special tool to remove them and to put them back in, because they're very tight in there. So you want to put them in evenly as well. But I did take the time out to clean around it as well, and some of the crevices, because again I didn't want any dirt or grime to get in the bearing themselves, because that would scratch it up. So I ended up just just kind of using my brake cleaning fluid to clean around the edges where it connected at. Now reassembling the back, and I apologize, I don't think this is the best visual of it, but basically with the bearing, to repack your bearings, there's actually a tool for it. But the old-fashioned way is basically just put grease on your palm of your hand, and you will be you'll just kind of knead the grease back into the bearing itself. You want to keep doing it until the grease comes out the other side. You'll see it start coming through the top of the bearings if you just keep rolling it around and getting it in there. But you want to make sure you pack them really well. And this is where you can see I'm just taking some grease, put it on my hand, and packing it in, getting ready to start to pack it in. But once you get it fully packed in, then you can reassemble the bearing back into the casing. But this will take a little bit, because again you want to make sure you really get enough grease into the bearing itself before you put it back into the housing there, the brake housing. So once you complete it, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and put your bearing back into the brake assembly, and then you want to re-put the seal back on. I used a rubber mallet here. You just want to try to get it on. You want to get it on evenly. So again, you just kind of tap it in slowly to get it completely flush with the brake assembly on the inside. And then once it's flush, just double check to make sure it's completely sealed and There's no it's completely sealed into the braking assembly before you assemble it back onto the spindle. Again, I cleaned it up just again. You want to maintain free of debris, so you want to clean up after each one of the projects you do. Now, assembling it on is pretty straightforward. You just slide it on. Again, be careful of the spindle. You don't want to scratch it or anything. But if you just slide it right on, it'll get right onto there. So the first thing you want to do is put your outer bearing back in. Slide that back in there. You'll have a washer to put in afterwards, and it has a slot on it, so you line it up with the slot that's actually on the spindle. Just make sure it's securely put in place, the brake assembly itself all the way on. And then the next thing we'll go on is actually going to be your nut. You screw that on there. Just again, don't just make sure you screw it on without damaging the threads. But first, you want to tighten it up. You can be spinning the brake assembly at the same time to get it to fasten on there, or secure itself on there. And then once you get it tightened on there, just kind of back it off a little bit and then retighten it back up. Hand tighten it. You don't want to over tighten this as well. And then the last thing we want to apply on is the castle crown, which goes over the nut. It's there to just secure the nut to make sure it doesn't come off while driving, which would cause a major brake failure there. So you want to make sure you reattach your castle crown back on. And again, it just snaps on. But it also has a groove as well, so just line it up with the groove when you put it on, and then it'll snap right on there. Put the brakes on. I'd probably advise you to do before. It didn't take much, a couple of pumps. Now, I also, too, I would advise not to use the air pump. That's the only thing I had, but really a regular hand pump would be fine because you don't want to over grease it, or you don't want to apply pressure putting the grease in there because you can blow your seal out, and then you just defeated the point of changing the brakes because you'll get fluid grease on your brakes and stuff if you put too much in it. So be conscious of that as well. So once you finish packing the grease in it, then you want to go ahead and put your cap back on as well as your dust cover seal. You want to make sure you put that on because it protects the dirt from getting in when you're driving down the road. And they both just kind of pop in. I used a rubber mallet to get the silver cap on, and then just the rubber things just attaches right onto it. After that, you just reassemble your tires back on, torque it down. According to my specification on my camper, it actually gave me 100 pounds of torque that the tires amount onto. So guys, if you like that video on change your brakes, let me know if you've actually changed your brakes. Also, please follow us. We're actually going to start off on our first adventure to Alaska with Tim, aka our small camper.